Hiya, it's Amanda here from Lolli Lulu Crafts, and today I've got a couple of Christmas cards for you, all made from this gorgeous Hunkydory Christmas set. This is one from my stash, so it's probably very old, but I'm sure you have something similar. Also, next, before we start, I must say my apologies for the huge delay in between videos. I just ended up having an unplanned break. I just didn't even realize it had been such a big gap until it was such a big gap. So I wasn't even able to let you know because I didn't realize I was going to end up having such a big gap. So my apologies for that. And I'm back now with this video. I hope you enjoy it. So let's get on with the crafting. So for the first card, we're going to make it using this 6x6 pre-scored card base. This is also a Hunkydory card base, but you don't have to. You can make your own, whatever. And in the little sort of collection, it comes as a little collection. It came with the matching or complementary cardstock for the collection. I picked out the robin. There was all sorts of different die cut sheets, but I picked out the robin because what more Christmassy could you get than a robin? And then I picked out this lovely green sort of foiled cardstock for the base. And I was thinking, oh, it's not going to fit the 6x6, and then I thought, well, if I cut off the top and the bottom parts rather than cutting off only one end, I would keep both parts of the foil, and it was exactly 6x6. Well, it was 6 from top to bottom of the foil, and then I cut it 6 inches across ways. So it ended up being a perfect fit. So I was really pleased about that because I got to keep both sort of parts of the foil, which I felt really worked for that. So for a change, I had my square card folding from the side. Those that you watch me regularly probably will know, although you may not have particularly noticed, but I generally have my square cards folding from the top for some reason. It's just how I like doing it. But for this one, I decided, oh, let's be a daredevil and go from the side. So I've just using regular tape pen or tape runner, whatever you want to call it, to stick this down. I'm going for a pretty flat card. This is Christmas, so with the Hunkydory, you've got really nice quality, and any sort of good quality cardstock and toppers, etc., that you use for this is going to make it look good. And the fact that it isn't perhaps got sort of lots of layering and different levels, etc., it's not going to matter. And then just to add a little bit of extra something to it, I put those bits that I cut off on the inside, top and bottom, and then a sentiment in the middle as well. That was also on that one same sheet. So all of this is coming from that one sheet, and again, it's just adding that little bit of something to it, but keeping it very flat and simple. Again, if I believe in the US, the shapes and sizes affect the costs of postage, so you may want to fiddle around with that according to where you are, you know, what works best for you, because obviously if you're posting out a lot of Christmas cards, the idea is to try and make them as nice as possible, but as inexpensive to post as possible. Obviously, if you're handing some out, then you can go a little bit more to town. But for this one, we're assuming it's a postage one, so I just went for the flat look. So you saw there, I just stuck the topper down and then another sort of round sentiment on the side. Now we're going for a card that is 5x7, and I'm taking a piece of cardstock that it was also in that collection, and that was obviously, when you saw it, you could see it was part of the robin set. They often do that with the Hunkydory sets. They have some that are specific to that topper, so this one was obviously specific to the robin topper. So rather than use it with the actual toppers, I thought, well, let's make a whole new card with it. So I cut the part that had the robin on it down to 5x7. Again, I want to keep it pretty flat. So I'm just using my tape pen for this. It's pretty strong, and you're only sticking down a single layer of the cardstock. Now you'll notice that I always start by sticking at the fold, because if I haven't quite cut it correctly for any reason, if it's a little bit too big or whatever, then you can much more easily cut the edge off that's open. So it just makes it easier to line it up on the folded edge than on the open edge, as it were. And then again, with the piece that was left over, I cut a bit off. It was a bit smaller anyway, just the way it was cut to get the 5x7. So I just cut it down to make it evenly smaller all the way around. And I think that had a really nice effect. And just worked really well for that, and it just added something. Then on that sheet of toppers there was a nice border, and I just thought, well, let's add that to the top. Again, it's just adding the effect of dimension because there's all this foiling to it, so it gives it movement and dimension even though you haven't got any height to it at this point. Although you'll see in a minute I do add just a little bit of something because you've got to sometimes. And this is a nice soft bit of ribbon that I just knotted into a bow. You can see there I've got a little topper which I haven't stuck down yet, but again that came from that sheet. I just knotted it, bowed it into a bow, and then I'm going to again stick the topper part down, or the little sentiment topper down flat. And then once that's stuck down for my ribbon, I'm going to use some wet glue, because obviously you could stick it down with the tape glue, but it's just a little bit heavy for that, and it's much stronger to stick it down with some wet glue, and that will just be flat enough. I think that because it's a soft ribbon, you can probably get away with that just going through for your postage purposes. And then just again to add that little extra something just to make it stand out and just look a bit special is just adding a little bit of glitter. I mean, if you can't add glitter at Christmas, when can you? And I'm just adding that onto really the bits that you would imagine that are sparkling with snow on the trees and bushes there. And also I did actually add some to the top of the little post that the robin was sitting on, and then I picked up the other card and did the same on that. So it's really simple, 2 cards all from one sheet and 2 pieces of card. And as I said, it doesn't have to be obviously the Hunkydory. It can be any collections that you've got in your stash. Most of us have got some sort of Christmas collections sitting around. And of course, at Christmas, with so many cards to make, we really want to try and be economical, but also we want our cards to look fabulous. So it's just kind of working out the best way to make that work. So I hope you've enjoyed making these cards with me, and I hope you enjoy the finished looks. I think they turned out really, really nicely. And again, I think it just proves that if you use quality materials, even the simplest of looks can look really effective. So thank you so much for watching this. And again, my apologies for the delay in between videos. And if you have enjoyed this video, I would love it if you could give it a thumbs up, subscribe, ring that bell and all that good stuff. Anyway, thanks again, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.